Hello, 5th grade. This is Chapter 11, Lesson 2, page 807. Convert customary units of length. Excuse me. Customary, once again, customary units of measurement were brought to us from England when the pilgrims and everyone came here to America. They were using customary units of measurement, and we continue to this day to use that type of measurement in the United States. But metric is popular around the world, and we use it here in America also, but we still use customary primarily. So here we go. Customary measurements. Example 1. Looks like they're on a roller coaster. Let's find out. For many of the thrill rides and amusement parks, riders must be at least 48 inches tall. That's a true statement. Chang is 4 feet tall. Is he tall enough to ride a thrill ride at an amusement park? Convert 4 feet to inches. So if someone is 4 feet tall, how many inches is that? Is it 48? Let's find out. So, since 1 foot is the same as 12 inches, do you know that? On your rulers, when you have a 1 foot ruler, which most of them are, it ends on 12 because 12 inches make a foot. Do you see that 12 hopefully? And here we go. So convert 4 feet to inches. Since 1 foot is equal to 12 inches, multiply 4 by 12. So they set us up here. 12 inches times 4 feet. How many inches will that be? That's like going like this. It's like going 12, 12, plus 12, plus 12. 4 of these feet. How many inches will that be? It's quicker to just multiply. So 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 1 is 4. It is 48 inches. What do you know? So 4 feet is 48 inches. Well, if you know your 12 facts, you would already know that also, but it's nice to see the work. Is Chang tall enough to ride the thrill rides? Why, yes, he just made it. Yes, he is. Yay for Chang. Check. Use division to check your answer. So just double check. Take the number you got, 48, divided by 4. Does it equal 12? We're not going to do the work. Trust me, it's good. But you could. 48 divided by 12 and like work it out over here. I don't care to do that right now. The unit of length most often used in the United States are inches, feet, yard, and mile. I said that funny, but anyways, these units are part of the customary system. Like I told you, they brought it over here from England back in the day. Key concepts to learn in this lesson. Customary units of length. You will be learning about feet, the foot. 1 foot is 12 inches long. So a foot is the whole ruler. Inches are the parts that it's broken into. And this ruler, I'm showing it up here where you can see it, is broken into centimeters, but that's not customary measurements, so we'll ignore that side. So inches. This particular ruler is half of a foot. It's 6 inches long. 12 inches in a whole foot. Anyway, a yard is equal to 3 feet. So if you had 3 of these 1 foot rulers laid end to end together, you'd have a yardstick, which I have here. Have you seen these in your house or at school? It starts at 0 at the end, moves across until you get to 36 inches. I'm going to make that stop. Moving on. One more second. Okay, so 36 inches are in a yardstick. So this is the yardstick, and it equals 1 yard. And guess what? It even says it on this ruler. I got this ruler at Menards. One yard, 36 inches. It ends on 35, and this last one would be 36, but they have it covered. So 1 yard is equal to 36 inches. I use this to measure things. You could see I've used it to measure things and written on this ruler on accident. The width of this is about the width of a doorway, measuring the doorway along with the molding around it. The actual doorway itself I measured and it was up to 30 inches, but if you measure the little bit of molding on each side, it is about a full yard. Okay, moving on. 1 mile. If you ran a mile, jogged a mile, it is 5,280 feet. 5,280 of these rulers. That's quite a few. Or if you had these kind of rulers, a yardstick, it would be 1,760 yardsticks to get to the end of the mile. So that's a lot. That is a lot. So these are things you need to memorize. Unlike the metric system, which is based on tens and everything ends with nice zeros and it's easy to figure out, the customary units of length are a little more cumbersome to work with. They still work, but you have to memorize these numbers. Anyway, when you convert measurements, you change from one unit to another. To convert a larger unit to a smaller unit, something big to something small, you multiply. To convert a smaller unit like this to something larger, you divide. And why is that? So the keywords are sometimes you multiply and sometimes you divide. To convert a larger unit to a smaller unit, you multiply. That means if you're saying, if you start with a large unit like a mile, how many feet will that be? You multiply because you're going to get a larger number. It takes a lot of feet to make that big mile. But to convert from something small, like inches, into something larger, like a foot or a yard, you would divide. Let's see if I said that right. To convert to a smaller unit to a larger unit, you would divide. Yes, because if you started out with 36 inches, that's a lot of inches, but if you're converting it into something bigger like a yardstick, it's only 1 yardstick. It's only one yard. So that is why you could divide. It takes less of them to make them, so it shrinks the number. Next page. So time to apply that strategy. Here we go. Okay, convert 42 inches into feet. How many feet would that be? And you do that by dividing by 12. Since you're changing a smaller unit to a larger unit, you divide. So let's talk about that. If you had 42 inches, this goes up to 36, remember? So I know it's going to be more than a yard, but how many feet would that be? How many feet would that be if I had 42 inches? I'm going to divide by 12 and figure out how many feet, how many of these rulers would end up in there. Let's do the work. Can you shut the door over there? Yeah. Okay. 12 does not go into 4, so I can't do that. But 12 goes into 42. How many times? Let's say, what do you think, kids? 12 times 3 is 36. Let's try that. So I'll put a 3 here. 3 times 12 is 36. And now I need to subtract. 36. I could do my trading here. 2 take away 6 can't be done, so I'll borrow. This becomes 3, this becomes 12. 12 take away 6 is 6. 3 take away 3 is 0, nothing there. You have a remainder of 6 what? 6 inches, because what you were working with to begin with was inches. You had 42 inches, so there are 6 inches left over. But we made 3 feet. So in 42 inches, we have 3 full feet, 3 rulers, in other words, and 6 inches left over. 6 inches looks like this, half of a foot. So let's do this one way. Write the remainder in inches. The remainder, 6, which I just talked about a second ago, means there are 6 inches left over. Funny, I didn't know they were going to get into that. Okay. 42 inches is the same as 3 feet with 6 inches left over. It made a solid 3 feet with a little bit left over. Ooh, 3 feet is going to convert into one of these here yardsticks. I can get 3 of these rulers across this yardstick. Does that make sense to you? There's 3 feet in a yard, so 1 from the 12 to the 24 is 2, and from the 24, can you get that? To the end of the ruler is another yard, or another foot, so that's 3 feet. Anyway, the fraction of a foot, write the remainder as a fraction or a decimal. The fraction of a foot is blank or blank. The fraction is 6 out of 12 inches that it takes to make a foot, or 1/2 of a foot. So it's 6 out of 12 inches, or half of a foot. 42 inches equals blank feet. Three and a half, because 6 out of 12 inches is half of a foot. So 42 inches is equal to 3 feet 6 inches, or 3.5 feet. Or if you want to write it as a decimal, another way to write half is 0.5, 3 and 5/10, because 5 is half of 10, so 5/10 is the same as a half. Feet. Okay, let's try some independent practice. I'm moving the book, and we will give that a try. We need to do some thinking here. Will we be multiplying, or will we be dividing? Dividing. And I'm going to pull up, well, am I? I was going to do it on the calculator, but now that I think about it, I think we need to show our work. Here we go. So I'm going to get my dry erase board ready and do it like that when I need to. So here, one more second. Wasn't anticipating all of this. Here we go. 72 inches is how many feet? 72 inches is more than my yardstick, that's for sure, because that's 36 inches. But how many feet is it? I told you there were 3 feet in a yard. If I had 72 inches, that's going to be several feet, but not huge. Here we go. So what I need to do is say 72 divided by how many inches are in a foot. A foot, we said, is worth 12 inches. There's 12 inches in a foot. So we're going to take 72 inches and divide it by 12, because every time I have 12 inches, I have a foot. So, time to use the whiteboard. This will be right here. 72 divided by 12. Now the reason I'm choosing not to use my calculator is because you need to see what happens with the remainder. 72 divided by 12. How many times does 12 go into 7? 0. You could either put something there or leave it open. I guess I'll put a 0 just to hold the spot. How many times does 12 fit into 72? Do you know? Let's try 6. 6 times 2 is 12. I like to do it on sideways. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 1 is 72. And once again, that's a fact you might already know in your head. It came out perfectly. So 72 divided by 12 inches per foot, 72 inches, should have labeled it, divided by 12 inches in every foot gives you 6 feet. So our final answer is, this is equal to exactly 6 feet. There would be 6 of these rulers laid end to end, one after another, to make 72 inches. Let's try this. 19 yards. Woo. That's big. We want to know if I had 19 of these yardsticks, these long yardsticks, from end to end, they're pretty big. 36 inches each. If I had 19 of them, how many inches would that be? Whoa, that's a lot. One yardstick goes up to 36 inches, remember? It's 36 inches long from end to end. There's 0 at the end, 1 yard. A yard is 36 inches, 36. So if you had 19 yards, what are you going to do to figure out how many inches that is? Is your number going to be getting bigger, or is your number going to be getting smaller? Your number is going to be getting bigger because it takes a lot of inches to make the yard. So let's multiply to get a bigger number. All right, so I'm going to do, I like my big number on top, so 36 inches are in every yard, times the fact that we have 19 yards laid end to end. How many inches will that be? So 36 inches times 19 yards. Sorry, this isn't writing that well. What do we get? We need to do the work. 9 times 6 is 54. 9 times 3 is 27 plus 5 is 32. New row, drop an egg. 1 times 6 is 6. 1 times 3 is 3. Add it together. 4 plus 0, 2 plus 6, 3 plus 3. This is an answer in inches because we're trying to figure out how many inches it would be. The final answer, let me make sure I'm not miscalculating anything. Yay, I'm right, is 684 inches. So that's a lot. 684 inches. Also notice it's an irregular number. It doesn't end with 0. It's not nice and pretty like metric answers end up being usually. But if you had 19 yardsticks, you would have 684 inches. That's a lot. Let's try this one. Do we want to do that one? I suppose. 40 inches. How many feet would that be? 40 isn't that much. We said this ruler, this yardstick, is 36. If you had 40 inches, it would just be a little longer, like that. So it's going to be a little more than a yard. But how many feet is that? I was telling you there's 3 feet. 3 of these feet in a yardstick. Remember? 3 feet in a yard? 12 inches in every foot. Just trying to give you a reference. How many inches, if you have 40 inches, how many feet would that be? My estimate is it's going to be 3 and a little more because it's a little more than a yardstick. So let's figure this out. We are going to divide. It's 40 inches because there's a lot of them, divided by something larger, which is a foot, which is 12 inches. 40 feet divided by 12 inches per foot. Let's do it on our whiteboard. 40 inches is equal to how many feet? Inches. Divided by 12 inches per yard, per foot. Every time you have 12 inches, you have a foot. How many feet will this end up being? I know I'm trying to figure out how many feet it will be. There might be some leftover inches, so I'm going to prepare my board for that. Can you see that? So, here we go. How many times does 12 fit into 4? It doesn't. How many times does 12 fit into 40? Probably 3. Let's do 3 feet. Like I was saying, it's close to a yard. 3 times 12 I know is 36. Subtract. You could probably do this in your head too. What's 40 take away 36? Hopefully you know it's just 4. You could do all the trading, but not necessary really. Can you get another 12 out of 4? Nope. So this is our remainder. It was in inches to begin with, so it's in inches when it's left over. And so we made 3 solid feet, 3 rulers worth, because we did 12 inch divided by 12, so it's equal to 3 solid feet with 4 little inches left over. 4. See up to the 4? So it's 3 feet with 4 extra inches. which is like a yardstick, 3 feet, with 4 little inches tacked onto the end. But that's just a side note. When we write it in our book, we are saying 40 inches was the same as 3 feet and 4 inches. And if you want to write it as a fraction, it would be 3 feet. Oops, I shouldn't have written that so far. And 4 out of 12 inches that it takes to make another foot, if you write it as a fraction. And if you simplify that, it's equal to 3 feet, and you have to simplify it by dividing 4 into the top and 4 into the bottom, which would be 1/3 feet. So it would make 3 solid feet, 3 whole feet, and 1/3 of another. That's what that reduces to. So 3 and 1/3. And that's what the book wants you to do. So that's that. Let's try this, because let's talk about miles. Wow, that's a lot of feet. 26,400 feet. But how many miles would that be if you went running? Let's find out. I'm going to erase my board and find out. How many feet are in a mile? Well, I haven't memorized as an adult, but this is new to you, so let's look back at our work here, our key concepts. A mile is equal to 5,280 feet, or 1,760 yards. We're focused on feet right now. 5,000, so it's like 5,280. 5,280. Let's go over here. We've got a big number. I'll just put it right on the whiteboard. Divided by that many feet. Divided by that 5,000 number to get how many miles it will be. Let's do this. The number you get here is going to be a smaller number because you're dividing something small into something big. It'll take less miles to make that number of feet. Let's see. Let's try a different color. Okay. 26,400 divided by, oh boy, 5,280. Can you see that? Oh my. I think I really just want to use my calculator. This is huge. 1 second. All right, clear. Hopefully I don't get any crazy messages while this is going on, but I might. Okay, there's our big number, 26,400 divided by 5,280, which is the amount of, I should be labeling this. This is how many feet are in a mile, feet per mile. And this is the number of feet we are currently looking at, and we're trying to figure out how many miles will that make. How many miles will that be? Okay, so I had typed it in, this divided by that equals 5 miles exactly. Who knew it would come out so nice and evenly? So, see, I told you the number would be smaller. It only takes 5 miles, but it would be 26,400 feet. So I divided by the number of feet in a mile. Okay, so my answer for that one is just flat out 5. That's easy. No halves, no quarters, no nothing. Let's see if there's another interesting one. Well, this one they gave us some blanks, so let's just do, which one do we want to do? Let's do this. I like the idea of thinking about yards. Here we go. 22 feet equals how many yards with some feet left over? Remember, feet are like my clear ruler, 12 inches long. A yard is like this wooden ruler, which is 36 inches long. How many of these feet are 22 of these feet equals how many of these yardsticks? It's going to be less with a little bit of feet left over. Let's do the work. So I'm going to use my whiteboard, and I'm going to do 22 feet. (22 feet How many feet are in a yard? There are 3 feet per yard. Per yard or yardstick. I like to think about the yardstick. So how many, in the end we want to know how many yardsticks will it be, or yards will there be with some possible feet left over. Here we go. 2 divided by 3 does not, you cannot do that. But 22 divided by 3, what would that be? How about 7? 7 times 3 is 21. When you subtract, you have 1 foot left over. And that goes here. So if I had 22 feet, I would have 7 yardsticks and 1 foot left over. I'm looking for my clear ruler. It'd be 7 yardsticks with 1 clear ruler left over. I'm trying to give you a visual. 7 yards and a foot are in if you had 22 feet. So you'd either need 22 of these rulers end to end, or you might prefer to use 7 of these yardsticks with an extra foot. Okay, I hope, well, I guess I better do just one more. Let's look down here. If you're trying to figure out comparing something that's less than, greater than, or equal to, you need to balance out each side of the equation to be in the same type of measurement in order to compare them. So let's do this one. If you had 72 inches, I feel like I did that, yeah, at the top. We did that up there. We could convert them both to feet so that we could compare them. So we said 72 inches earlier was 6 feet. So I'm going to convert both of these to feet so that I can know exactly what they're equal to. If 72 inches is equal to exactly 6 feet, we worked that one out earlier. How many feet are in 2 yards? That's what I would figure out. A yardstick, we were saying, was worth 3 feet. A yard is 3 feet. Remember? 3 feet going across, 3 of these rulers. So if I had 2 yardsticks, how many rulers would that be? How many feet would be in that? Basically, it's 2 times 3. 2 yardsticks times 3 feet per yard. So 2 times 3, that's easy. That's 6 feet. Whoop, what do you know? If 72 inches is equal to 6 feet and 2 yards is equal to 6 feet, is it less than, greater than, or equal? Ding, ding, ding. It's equal. So for each of these, you need to convert them into matching measurements and then compare. So I'm going to end the video there. Hope it helps you. See you in the next lesson.